Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again. Long time no see. Yeah, I was sick with a cold, so I couldn't do a video for a while. But I'm back, and it's Month of Terror will continue, and this time is a rant. I know you've been waiting for one for a while. This is a 2016 action horror film, the last in the series until we got the reboot a few years ago, directed by Paul W. Sanderson, and it's a sequel to Retribution. It stars Mila Jovovich, Ian Glenn, Ali Lauder, Sean Roberts, Ian Mackin, Fraser James, Ruby Rose, who barely acts anymore, Rolla, I don't even know who that is, and William Levy. Resident Evil the final chapter. Thank God this is the last one because it was freaking terrible. The mistakes they made in this movie did not make up for the last 4 or 5 films. This is the plot. In the film, Alice and her friends, are betrayed by Albert Wesker, who gathers the entire forces of the Umbrella Corporation to one final strike against the apocalypse survivors. Yeah, and that's the plot in a nutshell. But there barely is a plot. I mean, there's a lot of retconning from the last film. There's a lot of flashbacks. There's recasting of characters from the original film, and and the twist, Alice was a clone the whole time. Like, yeah, that's why she can do all these abilities. That's why she's like invincible and hardly ever gets hurt because she's a freaking clone. Yeah, it just didn't work for me. It felt really forced. And one of the worst things in this movie is not even the acting. That's one of like 10 problems with the film. It's the editing. This movie is one of the worst edited films I've seen in a long time, especially an action horror film. This film makes the Taken sequels look like they're competently shot. Every 2 seconds, Anderson cuts here, cuts here, cuts here, cuts here. It's awful. The editing is some of the worst I've ever seen, and I'm like, it's because of BS like this why we can't have good action horror films nowadays. That's why so many movies flopped in the past 3 years during the pandemic because some of the editing is atrocious. Like they shake the camera, they jump cut every 2 seconds. I'm like, you could let a movie flow and we could see a shot for at least 5 seconds, Anderson. You don't need to cut here, cut here, cut here. When a monster's flying or Alice is kicking or shooting something, you don't need to cut every 2 seconds. We want to see the action. If we can't see the action, we're not going to be able to enjoy ourselves. And that's one of the reasons I hated this freaking movie. It's so horribly edited, and yet this movie made a profit worldwide. It made 312 million on a budget of 40. Yet movies nowadays struggle to make 100 million domestically. It's sad. And this movie's horribly edited. I guess back in 2016 or 2017, in the US, because it was released in Tokyo in December of that year. They were more forgiving in 2017. I'm not. This movie sucked back then, and it still sucks to this day. And yeah, the reviews were mixed. Yeah, were mixed. It should have been panned because of the editing, and became the highest grossing in the franchise worldwide. But it didn't deserve it. It's awful. You could barely see what's going on. It's not even that long. It's like an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 35 minutes. It's not really that long. It's not 2 hours at least, but it just drags. Mila Jovovich, like as this character, she started off okay, and then she got worse as the films proceeded. And she just doesn't care. She's just flat here and just wants to go through the motions. Ian Glenn is a terrible freaking villain in this movie. As Dr. Alexander Isaacs, he's also a clone. I didn't care about his acting. He was terrible. He was in Game of Thrones, I believe. Ali Lauder is barely in the film, so I can't say much about her. Sean Roberts as Albert Wesker is barely in the film. Ian Mackin as Doc, a spy working for Umbrella, posing as one of the survivors. Yeah, he's barely in it. Ruby Rose can't act, you know that. A big disappointment? Yeah, I know, Hugh Electric Dino, it is. And the religious stuff felt really flat for me. If it was forced, you didn't need it in a Resident Evil movie. It was never about that. These are zombies, not vampires. It's an ugly looking film. Like a lot of it is shot in the daytime, and it looks it's murky and it's ugly. It's just like the Rise of Skywalker. There's no bright colors, like in the Mario movie. There's a reason why Mario made $1 billion this year. There's a reason why Detective Pikachu made more than this. There's a reason why the Sonic movies are better than this, because they're fun and colorful and they're entertaining and they're edited well. They're not edited like a freaking like somebody's having a seizure while filming the camera, keeping the camera steady. Yeah, look at the consensus. Resident Evil: The Final Chapter may prove mind-numbing, chaotic for the unconverted, but for fans of the venerable franchise, it offers a fittingly kinetic conclusion to a violent post-apocalyptic saga. I disagree. I think this is the worst of the entire franchise. I know Welcome to Raccoon City wasn't well received, but it wasn't edited like this. I can at least say that. It's just one of the lousiest finales. Yeah, and it's not satisfying. To me, the second movie had a better finale than any of these sequels after that. And it's just awful. Like if you've never seen this, skip it. Don't even bother. Just see the first two and just forget that these other sequels even existed, because they get worse as they go along. And I would not recommend this movie. Take this, Anderson. I'm glad Monster Hunter flopped so you can stop making video game movies, because I'm like, it was okay. It was better edited than this. You could see the monster action at least, but the guy needs to retire or just make a good movie. Make a good movie again or just retire, because nobody wants to see your trash anymore. You know, uh, People are their tastes have changed in the past 3 years. Hey, John, this movie's horrendously bad. Plus, the scenes in this movie are hardly edited like Transporter 3. Yeah, Transporter 3, the Taken sequels, and even Columbiana. I thought Olivia Megaton directed this movie. I'm like, Paul Dennis Anderson did films in the 90s that were better edited than this. Look at Mortal Kombat. It's not edited like this. This is way worse. And you can't see it. How am I supposed to enjoy a movie if I can't see what's going on? If it's too dark or edited poorly, or they're shaking the camera. I want to see what's going on, even if it's campy. Give me what I want. Stop wasting my time with these badly edited action sequences. But anyway, this movie sucks, guys. If you've never seen it, don't see it. There's nothing good about it. It's one of the worst edited action horror films I've ever seen. I've seen films from the 80s do it better. But anyway, it's bad, and it's for Halloween. It's a movie you can skip. Just see one of the other films or see the animated films. They're better edited than this. Vendetta, Degeneration, Damnation, they're all better than this. I can guarantee you that. Death Island, I'm going to check that out in November. But anyway, this movie blows, and I don't want to see it again. And avoid at all costs, yes, Electric Dino. All of you guys that didn't see it, don't. It's not worth your time. Anyway, thanks for watching. Acknowledge me, and I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully sooner. Take it easy.